And it can include divorce, miscarriage, and other difficult life events. And returning to work after any type of loss can be difficult when you are still grieving. So Executive Coach Alexia Zigoris is here this morning with how you can help your coworkers when they return to work after any kind of loss. So we kind of said it there in the lead, and grief can cover a pretty wide range, Alexia.
Yes, and you know, this came about because I lost my father last fall, and I found a lot of people have difficulty asking you how you're doing or broaching the subject. They're afraid that they'll bring something up and make everybody uncomfortable. But the truth is that grief is part of life.
Right, it's normal.
It's normal.
Yeah.
And it's going to come up at work, right? So because we spend so much time there, this is a community that we're involved with every day. So let's talk about how can you help someone when they're coming back.
Yeah, I think the number one tip that you have is just acknowledge it.
Acknowledge. I talked to someone recently who lost their father-in-law, and she said she went back to work. No one said anything. Not one person. No one even asked how she was doing or said they were glad she was back. And really just to say, I'm glad you're back. It's good to see you here. You know, if you don't have time for a lengthy conversation, just to say, I'm so glad to see you.
Yeah, I think that's a really good tip because a lot of people, like you said, people don't always know what to say, but it's also okay just to ask, how you doing today, right?
How are you doing today, right now? If you say, are you okay? Well, the floodgates can open on that.
Sure.
But if you say, how are you doing right now? Is there anything that I can do for you? If tears start to bubble up a little bit, maybe there's a quiet space that you can, a conference room, and you can just have someone sit, bring them a glass of water, and let them have their moment.
Yeah.
A lot of our work is public, right? So we have open workspaces, or if you work on the floor of a restaurant or a retail, there's no place to go.
Well, I think sometimes too, women feel like we can't cry at work. Like that makes us appear weak, or men don't want to see things like that. But I mean, someone who's in a grieving situation, is it okay to let them know, you know?
It's okay.
Yeah,
it's okay without embarrassment or shame around that.
Right.
Typically the tears are not just a floodgate, it's just a little, it wells up and then you release a little bit. And we have to release it over time because grief, it doesn't just come all at once. It comes over time, and
and it's important to talk about actions that people can do, whether it's sending a text or taking dinner or.
Yeah, the rule of thumb is if you feel compelled to do something, do it. Don't ask if it's okay.
Because people won't always ask for help.
They will not ask
themselves.
for help. A lot of people say, let me know if you need anything.
Do you think it's important for bosses or coworkers to set aside a particular space or time for people to, you know, get away during the day?
I think if someone knows that there is a place that they can go, that would be very helpful to them. So let's just say they need a moment to recompose themselves or something triggers it. We have triggers all day long. Music triggers, smells, just a conversation that reminds you of a moment of that person. So to be able to find a spot where you can maybe go and kind of gather yourself back up is very helpful. I think if bosses can let people know that that's
So just acknowledge and listen is the way to wrap this up. Alexia, thank you. I think that was really helpful.
Yes, thanks.
Something good to remember, Tara.